Hello, I'm Jeremy Gray, and this is the Tom Crean Show. Today, we'll talk to the head coach of the Indiana Hoosiers about IU's outstanding start to the season that has the Hoosiers placed in the nation's top 10. Courtney Cronin will take a tour of Cook Hall with Kit Klingelhofer as well as Bob Hamill. Megan Crean will put Marnie Mooney on the Knicks English hot seat and much, much more right now on the Tom Crean Show. Coach, as extraordinary as the victory over Kentucky was, you got to look at that Ohio State game. Students on break, no Will Sheehey, just as talented opponent that might be more experienced. That was a remarkable win for your team.
Oh, there's no doubt about it, and it was a league win. But they're very, very talented, and we had not had success against them, and most of the times we hadn't been close with them. And I think our players really wanted to change that, and we played pretty well. And it was a game that was back and forth a little bit. They had some foul trouble. We had some foul trouble. We lost Cody at the end of the game to fouls. But our guys made the defensive stands at the end they had to make. And I was proud of them. We earned it. And
Victor Oladipo was truly locked in that game.
Well, he was, and he's been throughout the year. But it was so many different guys that played at a high level inside of that game. But certainly what he did defensively was a huge part of it. Didn't get off to a great start defensively in that game, but really locked in into a big way, and it was a total team effort.
Then you look at the contest against Michigan. This is a very talented basketball team that's going to be good for quite a while here in the Big Ten, and your team was able to get out that victory as well.
Well, we knew we were playing against a really good team, explosive, experienced, physical, a lot more physical and tough than they're given credit for, and certainly from what they'd been in the years past. And now they're rebounding the ball at a really high rate. And we knew we were going to have to play really well the entire 40 minutes to win that game. And again, our fan support was just phenomenal. I don't know if we get either one of those games without the way our fans were.
And then going on the road, taking on Penn State. This is a team that's getting better as the season goes along. Mm-hmm. And Matt Roth and Jordan Hulls, phenomenal from three-point range, draining 16 three-pointers to get the win.
I just hope we didn't use up all our threes in that game, because that was unlike most anything I'd seen. But again, our guys were the product of great ball movement, making the next pass, great spacing, being ready to shoot, inside-outside attack, especially with Cody and Christian getting it in and out. I mean, it was really, really, again, a team effort. We made 5 threes in a row in that game. Victor made 2, Jordan made 2, Christian made 2 before Matt was even in the game. So that was pretty good news. And to have a couple different guys making shots the way we did, that could only help us.
Coming up on our next segment here, we're going to take a tour of Cook Hall with Bob Hamill and Kit Klingelhofer going through Legacy Court. Talk about how special that environment is for visitors to walk in, recruits, and even the coaching staff to go through that every single day.
Well, that's like a Ken Burns is in doing a documentary or something like that when you bring those two in together. But it is phenomenal. I mean, it has been a huge part of our recruiting, and it's helped make our players better. When you have an access building that's 24/7 to the student athletes, there's nothing like it. There's nothing like it. I mean, there's never a time that you can look at and say, I can't get better today. And that's what we love. But I think the thing that just puts it over the top is the tradition just oozes out of the building. When you walk in and you have a chance to see all the pictures and the history and the chronology of the program, it's just phenomenal.
And the 5 trophies.
That's pretty exciting too. And it sits right there in the center. But there's so many things that lead up to the trophies that really make it great.
All right, now let's check it out on our segment called This Is Indiana.
Many people at Indiana University know that Cook Hall is dedicated to the basketball student athlete, open 24/7, 365 days a year for them to work on their game in and outside of practice. What many people don't know is the history associated with Foul Shine Legacy Court, and I was lucky enough to have the 2 great minds behind the court show me around. I'm joined alongside IU Hall of Famer Bob Hamill and Assistant Athletic Director Kit Klingelhofer, right behind the 5 national championship trophies this team possesses. Gentlemen, why is this the first thing that you see when you step right into Legacy Court?
This piece right is actually the signature piece of Legacy Court. 5 national championships, and we want to keep it simple, so really all you see is the championship trophies plus the score of the championship games.
This tower is the centerpiece of the whole building, and that's the logical thing to go in there. It is striking to see those championship trophies that close up.
Kit, you were going to take me on a tour right down there. Let's take a look at some of the other artifacts.
A couple of really, I think, neat things we have in here. Archie Dees was the first most valuable player in the Big Ten for 2 years, and we have both of his MVP trophies up here, which we're thrilled to have those. One of the pieces we just acquired too, Walt Bellamy was a great center for Indiana in 1960. We were able to get a pair of his basketball shorts that he wore while playing for the Atlanta Hawks. That's something we'll continue to do. I mean, this will never be a finished piece.
As you see behind me, we have a touchscreen video board which goes through 100 years of history of IU athletics. Both of you, when this technology wasn't around when you were covering the team, but this is pretty cool to have this now, so anybody who wants to can go through here, scroll through the years, and talk about IU athletics.
Magnificent, and it's a great history, and there's no place quite like this for coming for a quick familiarity with what has happened here.
So now you've had a chance to see what is downstairs in Faushine Legacy Court. Make sure to stay tuned to the Tom Crean Show next week as we take you upstairs to show you the Indiana basketball timeline. At Cook Hall, I'm Courtney Cronin for the Tom Crean Show.
When we return, we'll continue our conversation with Coach on the Tom Crean Show. Welcome back, Coach. The first thing that you did when you became the head coach here at Indiana was change the culture, and it started with academics, and your team continues to get it done in the classroom.
Well, and again, we didn't really change people. And Marty Mooney and Maddie White, they were two just absolute stalwarts in what we were trying to get done. And we could tell early on that they had what it took. There was no doubt about that. And what they did is they established the criteria, they established the respect, they established the system, and all we have to do is back it up. But Marnie and Maddie and what Marnie has done with this program right now is she just has them understanding that they have absolute accountability, okay, to this program for doing the right things and academically. And she's so much more than an academic advisor in the way that she just really makes sure that these guys are doing the right things, and she's someone that they can talk to. She's just a phenomenal part of whatever's been happening in Indiana that's been good. And that's the part that's been pretty solid since the beginning, and she's been outstanding.
A lot of people have talked about the massive facility upgrades all across IU athletics, but the Ames Schul Academic Center has got to be at the top of the list. A lot of people aren't talking about it, but it's a great resource for your student athletes.
Well, I don't think enough people get a chance to see it. And if they went through there on a day-to-day basis, if they went through there and they saw it running in its day-to-day basis, the way that it runs, and they saw the student athletes in there working with the tutors, working with the mentors, watching the people operate that building, they'd know that Indiana is in phenomenal hands for the student athletes academically.
Looking at your team, getting a 3.08 GPA for the fall semester, remarkable. The GPA has gone up and up and up since you've been the head coach. How has that played out on the basketball floor, having those kind of kids who are both committed in the classroom and on the court itself?
Well, I think first and foremost, we've been able to recruit people from good families and people that have learned the value of education beforehand, and people that learn the value of hard work. And then our job is to come in and help them enhance it even more. And you don't want to put anybody around your players that can't make them better, but at the same time will tell them what they need to hear, not what they want to hear. And I think that's where success in all areas of your life have to mirror one another. And the fact that people are doing well academically and it transfers to the basketball court is really strong. In the past, we were working to get better. We had strong academics. We just weren't where we needed to be as a basketball team yet. But the whole basis of our program is improvement, whether it's academics, whether it's the program for where we are right now as a team. Everything's about doing better and never getting to a point where you're comfortable, where you let your guard down, where you're not striving for absolute excellence in every area. And if you don't have it academically, somewhere along the line, it's going to catch up with the rest of your program.
Now our very own Megan Crean is going to sit down with Marnie Mooney on the Knicks English Hot Seat.
Today on the Knicks English Hot Seat, the Director of Academics for Men's Basketball, Marnie Mooney. To the hot seat. How hard is it for the team to accomplish their academic requirements on the road?
You know what, on the road we have a good program in place where we do study tables. Actually on the plane, as soon as the wheels are up, we have our books out and our laptops out, and Coach Crean makes time, if we need to, the next day for a little bit of study hall opportunity. But for the most part, we try to plan ahead, but we're really able to get a lot done on that plane, whether they like it or not.
What's on your iPod?
I have a little Kenny Chesney, Kanye, Tim McGraw, pretty much a pretty wide range of music.
What is something about the players that nobody knows?
I always like to tell people that Christian and Maurice have the best penmanship that I've ever seen of any college basketball player. They are just perfect script and perfect cursive, and I think that's something that people wouldn't know. I would also say that Will and Tom have co-custody of 2 lizards, so I don't think a lot of people know about those 2 pets. And then Jordy is a really organized guy who takes school very seriously. He's the king of binders. I heard from his best friend in high school that he once held a trapper keeper, for those of you that know what that is. And he is, I don't think a lot of people would know that he is a very organized and attention to detail type of student.
Thank you, Marnie.
When we come back, we'll profile sharpshooter Matt Roth on the Tom Crean Show. Welcome back, Coach. A player came up big for your team against Penn State and can flat out stroke the basketball. Matt Roth, talk about what he does as a player.
Well, he's doing more than shooting, and I think that's what's big, and I think that's why he's shooting the ball so well. He's very locked in defensively. He's playing physical. He's aggressive. He's diving on the floor for loose balls. His deflections are going up, and he's just absolutely ready to shoot when he catches the ball. And if they run at him, which they do, he gives them a shot fake, and he scores it off the dribble. And I love the fact that he's having success because he's worked very hard. He's a huge part of our team, always has been, and an incredibly valuable member. He brings a dunk gets guys excited. Matt Roth making a 3 gets guys as excited as any dunk we have.
Where is his range? I mean, you've seen him pull up from 30, and he's absolutely comfortable, and he's able to knock it down with the exact same stroke that he shoots it from 20.
We're very comfortable if we were in a short clock situation, length of the court, that if he caught the ball around midcourt, nobody would flinch. We'd feel good about that shot. I think his range, the only guy that I've been around that had range in that ballpark was Steve Novak, who's with the New York Knicks now. And Matt might even have deeper range. He's very comfortable with it. The key for Matt, though, it's not the range, it's the quickness of feet, it's the quickness of release, it's being ready to shoot, it's staying in his shot, all those different things. Because sometimes it's really easy to look at a shooter and think that, well, just because they're such a natural shooter that things don't have to be right. We want him to continue to be quick to the ball, and the thing that he's got is he's got that shot fake, and so he becomes even that much more dangerous.
You mentioned his improvement defensively from last year. How much has he improved?
Oh, I think everybody has, because I think they knew they had to. They knew they had to win. They knew they had to get on the court. It's very hard to get on this court right now if you can't hold your own defensively. And you've got to be able to make some shots, or you've got to be able to make free throws or do something offensively. We're not a team, and we said this back in the offseason, and it's really starting to come to shape. If you're just situational, you're going to have a hard time playing here. And Matt, again, in the Penn State game, he wasn't just on the court for offense, he was on it for defense. And he had a lot to do with us winning the game on both ends of the floor.
All right, let's take a look at what's going on around campus.
The painting had a very important place in our collection because it represented German art and culture. And we have, actually, most American museums don't have that much because Germany's been very strong in preserving its own visual patrimony. So we were very lucky to have this painting for the 26 years that we had it.
Institutions of learning and higher education really have a moral responsibility to return works of art to their rightful owners if that case can be proved, irrespective of whether or not legally we could have kept that painting.
The minute we knew this claim was fair and honest and right, to approach Berlin, come visit and say, let's do this and let's plan this, and we were very happy to work together.
So this case here, other museum and institution to say, well, we feel sorry that it is with us, we give it back to the original place, that's absolutely unique. And it's, of course, it's the best base to build in future together with these other museums to have now a solid basement for a new partnership.
There are many points of common interest, and I believe that this could be a good starting point for further collaboration between the university, exchanging experts, curators, restorers, or even students, or maybe organizing internships, whatever.
I think it's an extraordinary gesture on behalf of Indiana University, one of our great American universities. And we offer the assistance in the form of the U.S. government, not just the State Department, but it really does depend on the specific situation. Herman B. Wells is such a unique, iconic figure, not just in Indiana's history, but in Berlin's history, and specifically with this piece of art, that this one was much more straightforward. At the end of the day, all is whole, all is at peace as a result of this ceremony today. So I'm very, very proud to be part of it.
When we return, we'll go behind the scenes with Indiana basketball on the Tom Crean Show. Welcome back. It was a busy offseason for the Indiana basketball program as they put together their first father-son camp. Let's go behind the scenes and check it out. All right, Coach, this father-son camp, you can tell that both the kids and the dads are having a great time, and it seemed like the kids, even more than the basketball, enjoyed watching their fathers have to do push-ups and run stairs.
Yeah, I think that's a big part of it. I think this gives the kids an opportunity to be on an equal footing, and anytime they can get a leg up, I think they're all going to take advantage of it.
And you could tell that a lot of your players really enjoyed interacting with the kids and the dads.
Oh, I think so. I think it's fantastic for them. I think it's great for everybody. I mean, it's a win-win all the way across the board. I mean, parents get to spend a lot of time with their kids. Kids see their dads in a different light. Our players get to see it. It's fantastic. It's the first official weekend of Calbert Cheney. I mean, it's all very good.
Well, and you look at some of the dads, speaking of Calbert Cheney and having Calbert and John Leskowski walking around, they were pretty geeked out too.
Oh, I think so. No question. We got Royce Waltman here. They're going to see Don Fisher in a little bit. They saw Angelo Pizzo last night after watching a Hoosiers feature, and all of a sudden there's Angelo Pizzo to talk about making the movie and what it means. So I don't think we're leaving any stone unturned in this weekend, and I think that's where the memories will really come from. They're really going to experience a lot.
Why don't you tell us your names and why you guys decided to sign up for this camp here?
Brian Ignatz.
Spencer Ignatz.
Did you have a good time?
Yes.
Now, did you have more fun playing basketball or more fun watching your father do push-ups and run stairs?
Watching him push up and run stairs.
Now, how's your game?
It's been about 10 years since I played basketball, so it's just fun to come here. It really is.
And what was it like to interact with the coaches and players?
It's good. It's good. They're very friendly. It's actually it's an interesting dynamic they have.
And was it pretty cool to have a guy like Calbert Cheney feeding basketballs and John Leskowski walking around and talking to you as a lifelong IU fan, to have some of maybe your heroes growing up?
It is. But it's more to see that the team is building for the future. That's, I think, more important right now.
We're going to commercial, but when we come back, we'll close out our show with our Ask Coach Crean segment. Welcome back, Coach. NFL playoff time. That leads us to our Ask Coach Crean segment. John twittered in, you're a big football fan. Who is your favorite player or players to watch in the NFL?
Well, I'm much more into the teams, like the 49ers and Ravens, certainly the Packers, the Colts. But if I had to pick one favorite player, and obviously it wasn't this year, but it's Peyton Manning. His footwork, and I think, again, there's nobody that doesn't appreciate what Peyton Manning does, but as a coach, to hear and see the things that he does preparation-wise and then carries it over to the game, it's amazing. That would be my first favorite. And I also like on the defensive end, I love watching Ray Lewis and I love watching Clay Matthews. Those guys cover so much ground that they would be incredible defensive players in basketball.
All right, that wraps up this week's show. Tune in next week to the Tom Crean Show.